Safe home. The safety project.
The hotel business presents numerous risks to the health and safety of staff, which vary depending on the tasks performed: reception, cleaning service, kitchen, maintenance, room service, catering, spa, gardening. Let's take a look at the risks and safety requirements to prevent accidents and occupational diseases. The hotel industry includes a wide variety of activities involving receptionists, waiters, cleaners, maintenance workers, kitchen and restaurant staff, gardeners, security and parking staff. This diversity creates a variety of risks, including slips, fires, electrical, chemical, biological, ergonomic and work-related stress. Following strict safety regulations helps ensure a safe working environment for employees and protects hotel guests. Risk of slips, trips and falls. Keep floors dry and report any wet surfaces immediately. Clean up any spills immediately and post warning signs. Use non-slip mats in risk areas, such as kitchens, bathrooms, and entrances. Wear non-slip footwear to reduce the risk of falls. Avoid leaving objects in hallways or on stairways. Always keep emergency exits, hallways, and stairways clear. Avoid leaving luggage or carts unattended in passageways. Ensure that lighting is adequate in all areas. Fire risk. Ensure that fire extinguishers are always accessible and functioning. Know the location of fire extinguisher and escape routes. Do not overload electrical sockets and turn off unused appliances. Do not leave candles, stoves, or flammable materials unattended. Train staff on evacuation procedures and use of fire extinguishers. Follow the emergency evacuation plan. Provide fire training to staff. Conduct periodic fire training. Keep escape routes and emergency exits clear and marked. Chemical risk due to the use of cleaning and maintenance products. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, gloves, masks and protective glasses when using aggressive detergents. Avoid mixing chemical products, especially bleach and ammonia. Store chemical substances in closed and ventilated cabinets, away from heat sources. Always read the safety labels before use. Biological risk due to contact with contaminated surfaces or waste. Use disposable gloves when cleaning bathrooms and common surfaces. Wash your hands frequently with antibacterial soap. Dispose of waste in closed and separate containers. Disinfect common areas and work tools regularly. Electrical risk from use of equipment. Do not handle electrical appliances with wet hands. Periodically check cables, sockets and electrical systems to avoid short circuits. Report damaged cables or faulty sockets immediately. Avoid using multiple sockets and inappropriate adapters. Disconnect appliances before carrying out maintenance or cleaning. Ensure that electrical systems are regularly checked by qualified technicians. Ergonomic risks and handling loads. Use correct techniques to lift and move heavy objects. Avoid lifting heavy loads alone. Maintain correct posture by bending your knees and keeping your back straight. Distribute weight evenly to reduce strain on your back and joints. Use trolleys to transport linens, luggage, or heavy equipment. Take regular breaks to avoid muscle fatigue. Risk of work-related stress. Respect balanced breaks and working hours to avoid overload. Alternate tasks to reduce physical and mental fatigue. Promote a collaborative work environment to reduce the risk of conflict. Report situations of excessive workload to the manager. Managing difficult situations with guests. Maintain a professional and calm attitude in conflict situations. Follow specific procedures for handling aggressive or suspicious guests. Always keep emergency numbers handy and report dangerous situations to security. Avoid arguing with altered customers. Risk of accidents during maintenance operations. Follow company procedures before working on electrical or plumbing systems. Wear adequate personal protective equipment to protect yourself from burns, cuts, or electric shocks. Mark the areas where maintenance work is being carried out with warning signs. Risk of accidents in outdoor areas, gardens, car parks, swimming pools, terraces. Ensure that paths, stairs, and outdoor floors are always clean and free of obstacles. Report the presence of slippery or damaged surfaces after rain or cleaning. Wear appropriate clothing and protection against the sun or cold in outdoor activities. Emergency management. Emergency procedures are essential to protect workers, customers, and facilities in the event of critical situations. Effective emergency management includes prevention, planning, training, and rapid and coordinated response. An emergency situation occurs in the event of flooding, earthquake, fire, leak of gas or harmful chemicals, and in the event of a health emergency. Following the right safety regulations is essential to reduce risks and deal with any emergency promptly and effectively. Being prepared and following the correct instructions can make the difference between a successfully managed incident and a disastrous event. Every company must have an updated emergency and evacuation plan, with well-marked assembly points and escape routes. Designate safety officers and first aid and firefighters. Conduct periodic exercises to test staff response. Provide adequate training to all workers on emergency procedures. Ensure the availability of functioning fire extinguishers, checked periodically, and complete first aid kits. The hotel environment is a dynamic and complex context in which safety must be guaranteed in every operational area. Prevent slips and accidents by maintaining order and cleanliness. Protect yourself from chemical and biological risks with the right personal protective equipment. Manage emergencies with clear procedures for fires, injuries, and difficult customers. Ensure electrical safety and maintenance operations. Avoid work-related stress and physical overload with proper organization. Hotel safety is not just about the well-being of guests, but also of those who work every day to offer excellent service. Specific risks at reception. Receptionists play a key role in welcoming clients, guests, and visitors. In addition to administrative duties, they are responsible for security and emergency management within the facility. The main risks associated with this activity include work-related stress, people flow management, cybersecurity, repetitive movements, use of electronic equipment, and ergonomic risks. Ergonomic risk from incorrect posture and repetitive movements. Adjust the height of the chair and monitor to maintain a correct posture. Use ergonomic chairs with lumbar support to reduce the load on the back. Avoid maintaining the same position for prolonged periods, take regular breaks and change posture. Position the keyboard and mouse to avoid tension in the wrists and shoulders. Risk from work-related stress and public management. Manage the workload with adequate shifts. Plan balanced work shifts to avoid overloading of responsibilities. Maintain a professional and calm tone when interacting with difficult guests or stressful situations. Follow defined procedures for managing complaints and requests, avoiding direct conflict. Train staff to manage emergency situations and difficult customers. Promote a peaceful and collaborative work environment. Manual handling of loads. Avoid lifting heavy luggage without help, use trolleys or ask porters for support. When lifting weights, bend your knees and keep your back straight to avoid muscle tears. Organize the work surface to reduce the need to frequently move heavy materials. Use of electrical equipment. Do not use electrical equipment with wet hands. Periodically check the condition of cables, sockets, and electronic devices. Turn off computers and printers in the event of storms or voltage drops to prevent failures. Position cables so as not to constitute a trip hazard. Take regular breaks to avoid eye strain. Adjust the workstation ergonomically and use modern monitors. Tripping and slip hazard in the reception area. Always keep the area behind the counter clear to avoid tripping. Use warning signs to indicate any wet or slippery floors. Avoid accumulating unnecessary objects behind the desk or in the passage area. Personal data protection. Always protect customer data with secure passwords. Do not leave documents containing sensitive information unattended. Do not access unauthorized websites on company devices. Perform periodic backups to protect information. Risk of assault or threats by customers or strangers. Follow specific procedures for handling aggressive or suspicious guests. Always maintain a channel of communication with security staff. Avoid direct discussions with agitated guests and call for support if necessary. Always have emergency numbers at hand and install surveillance cameras in sensitive areas. Avoid handling money without adequate security measures. Always keep the entrance and reception areas well lighting. Biological risk for contact with objects, banknotes, customers' documents. Wash your hands often or use sanitizing gel after handling money or documents. Sanitize your phone, keyboard, mouse and counter surfaces regularly. In the event of epidemics or health risks, wear adequate personal protective equipment such as disposable gloves and masks. Procedure in the event of a customer or colleague illness. Always have a first aid kit available. Provide assistance to the customer or colleague, keeping them calm and safe. Call the emergency numbers immediately. Work at the reception requires constant attention to safety and public management. Staff must be prepared to deal with emergency situations, protect sensitive data, prevent ergonomic risks and ensure a safe environment for customers and colleagues. Adopt a correct posture to avoid muscle and joint problems. Manage the public with professionalism to avoid stressful or conflict situations. Protect sensitive data and follow IT security rules. Keep the reception area tidy and safe to prevent slips or trips. Be prepared to handle emergencies such as fires, illnesses or suspicious intrusions. The reception area is the heart of the facility. A safe and organized environment improves everyone's work. Specific risks for cleaners. Cleaners play an essential role in maintaining hygiene and safety in workplaces, hotels, schools, hospitals, and many other places. However, their work involves risks related to chemicals, slips, use of electrical equipment and prolonged physical effort. Following safety regulations is essential to prevent injuries and ensure a safe and efficient work environment. Exposure to detergents and disinfectants. Always wear protective gloves and masks when handling aggressive detergents. Never mix different chemicals. Store chemicals in closed cabinets and away from heat sources. Ventilate the premises during and after using chemicals to prevent the accumulation of harmful vapors. Risks of puncture and cuts from needles or improperly disposed of objects. Wear resistant gloves when cleaning rooms. Use caution when picking up waste or sheets to avoid hidden needles. Dispose of hazardous waste according to company procedures. Risk of slip on wet or dirty floors. Wear non-slip shoes with rubber soles for greater grip. Mark wet surfaces with warning signs, caution, wet floor. DIY the floor immediately after cleaning to reduce the risk of falls. Avoid leaving cables, brooms and buckets in passage areas. Ergonomic hazard and manual handling of loads. Avoid lifting buckets of water and heavy equipment without help. Use trolleys to transport materials and equipment. Bend your knees and keep your back straight when lifting an object. Alternate tasks to avoid excessive strain and muscle fatigue. Biological risk from contact with contaminated surfaces and waste. Wear disposable gloves and protective glasses when cleaning healthcare environments or biological waste. Wash your hands frequently with antibacterial soap. Dispose of waste in suitable, hermetically sealed bags. Sanitize work tools such as rags and sponges periodically. Use of cleaning machinery. Periodically check the conditions of electric cables and plugs. Do not use electrical machinery with wet hands or on flooded surfaces. Turn off and unplug equipment before performing maintenance or changing accessories. Do not pull electric cables to unplug equipment. Use of ladders and stools to clean high points. Use approved ladders with stabilizers and never improvised stools. It is advisable to have a colleague hold the ladder firmly on the ground, thus ensuring its stability during use. Do not lean excessively to reach distant points. Never leave ladders unattended in passageways. If work at height is prolonged, consider using mobile platforms instead of ladders. Use of chemicals. If a chemical comes into contact with the skin, wash immediately with plenty of water. In case of contact with the eyes, rinse with water and seek medical attention immediately. If toxic vapors are inhaled, move away immediately and breathe fresh air. Do not light open flames near solvents or alcohol. Cleaning activities can involve many risks. It is essential to adopt rigorous safety procedures to prevent accidents and protect your health. Use the appropriate personal protective equipment to protect yourself from chemical and biological risks. Avoid slips and injuries by keeping the environment clean and safe. Handle electrical equipment and machinery with caution. Follow emergency procedures in case of contact with hazardous substances. Organize the work to reduce the risk of stress and fatigue. Cleaning safety is not optional, but a daily commitment to protect yourself and others. Specific risks for kitchen and restaurant workers. Kitchen and catering workers operate in dynamic and high-risk environments, exposed to burns, cuts, slips, exposure to chemicals, electrical risks, and work-related stress. It is essential to follow specific safety regulations to prevent accidents and ensure a protected and productive work environment. Risk of burns and scalds, ovens, fryers, pans, plates, boiling oil, steam. Wear thermal gloves when handling hot pots and pans. Always use pot holders or insulating gloves when handling hot plates and trays. Avoid direct contact with hot plates, coffee machines, and kettles without adequate protection. Avoid overfilling pans and fryers to prevent boiling liquids from spilling out. Use suitable tools and tongs to move hot foods without touching them directly. Never pour water on boiling oil. Be careful when pouring hot liquids to avoid splashes and burns. Tell customers and colleagues when you are carrying hot dishes or drinks to avoid accidental impacts. Risk of cuts from knives and sharp equipment. Handle knives, scissors, and other sharp tools, manual or electric, with care. Store knives in safe knife holders after use. Wear cut-proof gloves for high-risk operations. Do not pick up broken glass and plates with bare hands. Use protective gloves and brushes. Report broken glasses or plates immediately to avoid injuries. Risk of slips and falls. Wear non-slip shoes with rubber soles. Immediately clean up any spills of liquids or greases. Mark dangerous areas with signs, caution, wet floor. Avoid carrying trays that are too heavy. Maintain an adequate distance from colleagues to avoid accidental impacts. Electrical risk from equipment, ovens, plates, fryers, dishwashers, coffee machines. Periodically check the condition of electric cables and sockets. Do not touch electrical equipment with wet hands. Unplug the plug before cleaning the equipment. Risk of fire in the kitchen, boiling oil, open flames, electrical appliances. Always keep specific kitchen fire extinguisher available. Do not leave pans on the fire unattended. Make sure that the extraction hoods are clean and free from grease buildup. Risk of excessive effort and manual handling of loads. Use correct lifting techniques, bend your knees and not your back. Do not carry loads that are too heavy alone, but ask for help or use trolleys. Store ingredients and tools at an easily accessible height. Working in the kitchen and in the dining room is a dynamic and complex activity, physically and mentally demanding, which requires constant attention to safety. Avoid burns and cuts with personal protective equipment and appropriate equipment and with the correct handling of hot dishes and utensils. Protect yourself from slips, overexertion and extreme temperatures. Be prepared to manage fires and injuries with emergency procedures. Manage your workload to reduce stress and physical overload. Maintain a clean, tidy, and safe work environment for everyone. Kitchen safety is not just an obligation, but a shared responsibility to protect yourself and others. Keeping the environment clean and safe. Handle electrical equipment and machinery with caution. Follow emergency procedures in case of contact with hazardous substances. Organize your work to reduce the risk of stress and fatigue. Cleaning safety is not an optional extra, but a daily commitment to protect yourself and others. Specific risks in maintenance activities. System maintenance workers operate in high-risk environments, exposed to electricity, moving machinery, chemicals, extreme temperatures, and working at heights. Following rigorous safety procedures is essential to prevent injuries and illnesses. Electrical risk in maintenance of electrical panels and systems. Before starting any work, apply the work in progress warning sign. Check the absence of voltage with certified tools before touching electrical components. Wear specific personal protective equipment, insulating gloves, anti-static footwear, protective glasses. Never work alone on electrical systems. Use certified equipment. Risk of falling from heights, scaffolding, aerial platforms, ladders. Wear safety harnesses. Check the stability of the support surfaces before climbing. Do not work in adverse weather conditions, strong wind, rain, snow. Periodically check the condition of the fall arrest devices. Risk of burns when maintaining boilers, pipes, heating systems. Wear suitable personal protective equipment, heat-resistant gloves and fire-resistant clothing. Wait for the systems to cool before intervening. Report the presence of hot surfaces with warning signs. Never open tanks or pipes under pressure without preliminary checks. Chemical risk due to the presence of fumes, solvents, refrigerants, toxic gases. Wear suitable filtering masks. Check for the presence of toxic or flammable gases before starting work. Ensure adequate ventilation in closed areas. Follow specific procedures for the handling and disposal of refrigerants and solvents. Mechanical risk, moving machinery, cuts, crushing. Only carry out maintenance on stopped and safe machines. Use suitable personal protective equipment, reinforced gloves, safety glasses, safety shoes. Do not wear loose clothing or jewelry that could get caught in machinery. Slip and trip hazard, wet floors, cables, loose tools. Keep the work area tidy and free of obstructions. Wear non-slip shoes with reinforced soles. Clean up spills and slippery surfaces immediately. Collect cables and tools after each intervention. Explosion or fire hazard, gas systems, flammable materials. Do not use open flames or sparks near flammable gases, or turn on electrical devices. Check for gas leaks with suitable tools. Keep suitable fire extinguishers nearby the work area. Risk from working in confined spaces, tanks, technical rooms, boiler rooms. Perform an air analysis before entering confined spaces. Wear safety harnesses connected to recovery systems. Always have at least one other colleague nearby ready to intervene. Use ventilation systems to ensure air exchange. Manual handling of loads. Avoid lifting heavy loads alone. Use trolleys and pallet trucks to reduce effort. Use correct lifting techniques to prevent muscle injuries. Take regular breaks to avoid fatigue. System maintenance workers operate in high-risk environments. Safety must always be the top priority. Follow safety procedures for electrical, chemical and mechanical hazards. Use appropriate personal protective equipment and adopt safe work techniques. Keep the work environment tidy and free of obstacles. Know emergency procedures for fires, accidents and confined spaces. Participate in safety drills. Safe maintenance is the basis for effective work. Safety is everyone's responsibility. Specific risks for spa and wellness center workers. Hotel spa and wellness center workers are exposed to specific risks related to the use of equipment, exposure to chemicals, customer handling, and environmental management. To ensure the safety of operators and guests, it is essential to adopt preventive measures. Risk of slips and falls on wet surfaces. Dry wet surfaces immediately and report any slippery floors. Use non-slip mats in the most exposed areas, entrance, showers, swimming pools, treatment cabins. Wear non-slip footwear. Chemical risk from exposure to essential oils, cosmetic products. Use protective gloves when handling chemicals and disinfectants. Make sure that the essential oils and cosmetics used are certified products and do not cause allergic reactions. Keep the chemicals in original labeled containers and stored in a safe place. Biological risk, fungi, bacteria, and viruses transmittable in humid environments. Clean and disinfect equipment and contact surfaces regularly. Change towels and sheets after each customer. Ensure good ventilation in the rooms to avoid the proliferation of mold and bacteria. Avoid direct contact with open wounds or skin lesions of guests and use disposable personal protective equipment, such as gloves and masks, when necessary. Risk of burns and burnings, sauna, Turkish bath, hot showers, and UV lamps. Always check the temperature of saunas, Turkish baths, and swimming pools before allowing guests access. Inform customers about the recommended times of stay in the sauna or Turkish bath to avoid the risk of heat stroke. Wear thermal gloves when handling high-temperature equipment. Avoid direct contact with hot steam or hot metal surfaces. Risk of physical stress and client handling. Use correct techniques for moving customers during treatments, massages, manual therapies, assistance to people with reduced mobility. Avoid incorrect positions and adopt an ergonomic posture during treatments. Adjust the massage table to the correct height to reduce back strain. Alternate physical activities with suitable breaks to avoid muscle fatigue. Use of electrical equipment, heated beds, beauty machines, hair dryers, hydromassage, UV lamps, or laser treatments. Ensure specific training for employees who use beauty equipment. Perform periodic checks on electrical equipment to ensure that it is in perfect working order. Do not use electrical appliances with wet hands or near water sources. Ensure that sockets are equipped with safety systems and that there is effective earthing. Interaction with customers. Always maintain a professional and respectful attitude with customers. If a customer displays inappropriate behavior, immediately report the situation to the manager. Do not perform treatments on people with obvious health problems without their declaration of suitability or a medical certificate. Pay attention to customers who show signs of illness during spa treatments or saunas. Always provide fresh water to customers to prevent dehydration and drops in blood pressure. Train staff in first aid maneuvers and have an emergency kit always available. SPA staff must adopt specific preventive measures to reduce the risks associated with their activity. The main areas to focus on are: prevent slips and falls with adequate floor maintenance. Always use personal protective equipment when handling chemicals and equipment. Handle customers carefully to prevent accidents and work-related stress. Ensure proper hygiene and sanitation to prevent biological risks. Follow safety procedures for electrical equipment and environments with high temperatures. The main goal is to ensure a safe and comfortable working environment for staff and a risk-free wellness experience for customers. Specific risks in gardening services. Gardening and landscaping activities present numerous health and safety risks linked to the use of machinery, cutting tools, exposure to chemicals, adverse weather conditions, and repetitive movements. Following the correct safety regulations is essential to prevent accidents and ensure a safe and efficient working environment. Risk of cuts and injuries from hand tools and machinery. Use cut-proof gloves when handling shears, pruning shears, saws, and other sharp tools. Handle blades and knives with care, storing them in suitable cases when not in use. Always check the state of deterioration of the tools and avoid using defective equipment. Switch off the machinery before carrying out any maintenance or cleaning. Risk of accidents with gardening machinery, such as chainsaw, brush cutters, lawn mowers, biokers. Wear mandatory personal protective equipment, helmet, visor, protective glasses, ear defenders, reinforced gloves, safety shoes. Make sure that the safety equipment of the machines are in working order. Never work with machinery near other people without reporting it. Use harnesses when working with heavy or motorized equipment to reduce fatigue. Check the fuel level of the machinery and fill the tank only with the engine OFF. Risk of exposure to chemicals, such as fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, solvents. Wear gloves, filter mask, and protective glasses when handling chemical products. Read the safety data sheet carefully before use and respect the indicated doses. Avoid direct contact with the skin and wash your hands thoroughly after use. Store chemical products in original, labeled containers and away from sources of heat or humidity. Do not treat plants on windy days to avoid dispersion of harmful substances. Risk of falling from ladders or trees during pruning. Use stable and certified ladders, placing them on flat and firm surfaces. Never climb trees without personal protective equipment to prevent falling, such as harnesses, safety lanyards, hooks. Do not carry out pruning alone, always have a colleague assist you. Risk of crushing or overturning with work vehicles, tractors, lifting platforms, excavators. Wear seat belts in tractors and agricultural vehicles. Do not maneuver vehicles in areas with excessive slopes or unstable ground. Check the condition of the wheels and brakes before starting the vehicle. Make sure there are no people nearby before making movements with the vehicles. Do not transport passengers on vehicles not designed for this purpose. Risk of muscle fatigue and repetitive movements. Alternating activities to avoid muscle overload. Taking regular breaks during intense manual work. Avoid incorrect postures and sudden lifting of weights without assistance. Use ergonomic tools to reduce physical effort. Acoustic risk from prolonged exposure to high noise, using lawnmowers, chainsaw, blowers. Wear headphones or earplugs to protect your hearing. Limit the exposure time to noisy machinery. Moving between green areas. Moderate the speed on work journeys. Check that the company vehicle is in optimal condition before each use. Pay particular attention when loading and unloading equipment and materials on vehicles. First aid management. Always have a first aid kit on hand. Train staff on first aid techniques in the event of illness, wounds, heat stroke, allergic reactions, or accidents. Keep a telephone with you to quickly contact emergency numbers. Gardening is essential for the maintenance of green spaces, but it can involve high risks if adequate safety measures are not adopted. Always use adequate personal protective equipment, gloves, helmet, glasses, ear muffs, safety shoes. Handle machinery and cutting tools with care. Avoid contact with chemicals without protection. Pay attention to adverse weather conditions and biological risk. Be prepared to manage emergencies and first aid. A safe and well-kept environment is the result of responsible and careful management. The hotel business presents multiple risks, but correct safety management can prevent accidents and improve the well-being of workers and guests. Adopt safety protocols for each department. Train staff to manage emergencies and critical situations. Keep work environments tidy and safe. Safety is not a document, it is a commitment. Your life and that of your colleagues are our goal. But also yours.
Safe home. The Safety Project.